Trojan War is long over, its heroes scattered or home, or so they thought. Most of the Greek kings have sailed back to their halls, but one man remains lost at sea year after year. Odysseus, the cleverest of them all, is still out there, fighting storms, monsters, and the wrath of the gods, all because he just wants to get home to Ithaca, to his wife Penelope and his son Telemachus. Tonight, his journey takes its darkest turn yet, straight into the land of the dead. Welcome to our journey through Homer's The Odyssey. Today we're diving into Book 11, The Journey to the Underworld. If you're just joining us, be sure to catch our bonus episode recapping Books 1 through 10. And if you've seen Christopher Nolan's version, check out our Homer versus Hollywood episode. After escaping the witch goddess Circe, Odysseus and his men could have stayed on her island forever, feasting in safety. But the call of home was stronger. Circe had given them fair winds and clear instructions. If they wanted any real hope of returning to Ithaca, Odysseus first had to seek out the blind prophet Tiresias in the realm of Hades. Only the dead could reveal the path ahead. So they launched their ship at dusk, the sails swelling with the breeze the enchantress had summoned. All night they sailed across the stream of ocean, reaching the misty shores of the Cimmerians where the sun never shines. The land lay wrapped in endless twilight, a place of fog and shadow. They beached the black ship, stepped ashore, and followed Circe's directions to the sacred grove where two rivers of the underworld met. There Odysseus dug a trench about as long as a man's forearm in each direction. He poured libations of milk and honey, sweet wine and clear water, then scattered barley meal over it all. He drew his sharp sword and sacrificed a young ram and a black ewe, letting their dark blood flow into the pit. The ghosts began to gather, pale shades rising from the earth like mist, drawn by the fresh blood. Odysseus stood guard with his sword, refusing to let any drink until Tiresias appeared. First came the spirit of Elpenor, his young comrade who had died so recently on Circe's roof. The poor fellow hadn't been properly buried yet. His body still lay unwept and unburned back on the island. With tears in his voice, Elpenor begged Odysseus to give him a proper funeral when they returned, so his soul could find rest. Odysseus promised, his heart heavy. Next came the ghost of Odysseus's own mother, Anticlea. He hadn't known she had died while he was away. Seeing her broke something in him, but still he held his sword steady, waiting for the prophet. Finally, the blind Theban seer Tiresias approached, golden staff in hand, recognizing Odysseus even in death. He drank the blood and spoke with eerie clarity. "Son of Laertes, you seek the way home. But Poseidon, the earth-shaker, is still furious with you for blinding his son, the Cyclops Polyphemus. He will make your voyage hard. Still, you and your men may yet reach Ithaca, if you can control your hunger when you reach the island of the sun god, Hyperion. There graze the sacred cattle and sheep. Harm not a single one, no matter how desperate you become. Leave them untouched, and you will all come home, though late and with great suffering. Touch them, and your ship and crew will be destroyed. You alone may survive, but only after many more years of wandering, arriving home on a foreign ship to find trouble waiting in your halls." Tiresias went further, painting a picture of the suitors devouring Odysseus's wealth and pressing Penelope to marry. He foretold a final journey Odysseus must make later in life, carrying an oar far inland until people mistook it for a winnowing fan. Only then could he make peace with Poseidon and live out his days in peace. And he spoke of a gentle death coming at last, far from the sea. The prophet faded back into the gloom. Odysseus finally let his mother drink. She recognized her son at once and poured out her love and grief. She told him how she had died of longing for him, how Telemachus was growing into a fine young man, and how Penelope remained faithful, waiting. Odysseus reached for her 3 times, but each time her shade slipped through his arms like smoke or a dream. Heartbroken, he learned the bitter truth. Once the funeral pyre consumes the body, the soul is gone forever, leaving only a fluttering shadow behind. More spirits came forward, great queens and princesses of old. Tyro, Antiope, Alcmene, and many others, each with stories of love, tragedy, and the deeds that echoed through the ages. Odysseus listened, moved by their tales of mortal glory and sorrow. Then the warriors appeared. First Agamemnon, king of Mycenae, murdered by his own wife and her lover upon his triumphant return. His ghost warned bitterly, "Never trust a woman completely, Odysseus." Next came Achilles, the mightiest of the Greeks. Achilles, now a lord among the dead, asked about his son Neoptolemus and his old father Peleus. When Odysseus praised the young man's bravery at Troy, Achilles' shade glowed with pride for a moment before declaring he would rather be a living slave on earth than king of all the dead. Ajax was there too, still brooding over the armor of Achilles that had been awarded to Odysseus instead of him. Even in death he held his grudge and would not speak. Odysseus tried to soothe him, but the proud spirit turned away. Odysseus saw many more, Minos judging the dead, Orion hunting eternal shadows, Tantalus forever reaching for fruit and water that receded from his grasp, Sisyphus endlessly rolling his boulder uphill, only for it to tumble back down. The sights chilled him to the bone. He might have stayed longer, but fear seized him as the countless hordes of the dead surged forward with a terrible clamor. He hurried back to the ship, his men already waiting. They cut the cables, raised the sail, and the current carried them away from that dread shore. As the oars dipped into the dark water once more, Odysseus knew the road home would be longer and harder than he had imagined. The dead had spoken, and their warnings weighed heavy on his heart. But he was still Odysseus, resourceful, determined, and unwilling to give up. Ahead lay the island of the sun, where one fatal mistake could doom them all. And beyond that, the final trials that would test whether any of them would ever see Ithaca again.